The Vegapunk Mastermind is coming out of retirement because it's time to cook up here with your boy Vegapunk. I'm super excited to play this leader again today because this is the leader of the channel. This is the staple, like, apple on my head kind of thing. Like, I love this leader. I love playing this leader, and it's what I'm best known for. It's what started me in the One Piece card game, and I have so much fun playing it. So if you enjoy it, like and subscribe. I'm going to cover this deck profile for you guys going into the OP14 format. There are cards that we're not able to add because this is built for the Western meta. I always have to do the never eat soggy waffles. This is for the Western meta specifically, but I do want to mention a card for the Eastern players that you should 100% be running in the deck, and that's going to be this 5-cost Lilith. I want to let you guys know right away that I don't want you guys to click off the video. This is still going to be a great video for you guys as well, but I would be running this as a 4-of guaranteed. If you have 2 or less life, on play your turn, draw 1 card. So it's not a card you really want to put into life often, but it's more a card you want to play to draw a card to not lose hand value as you cheat out a lot of bodies. This is going to be iconic in the deck profile. I would drop the 2 Dareshi, I would drop the S-Snake by 1, and then I would find 1 other card that you don't care to play often, maybe down to 2 of the Luffy's, because usually the deck does only run 2 of the Luffy's, or just maybe -1 Shaka, because it's a great 5/7, but you don't always need it. Good thing it's not a 6/7, am I right, guys? Anyways, yeah, this card, definitely a 4-of in the deck. It can be cheated off of the Vegapunk here, which also plays a card from the top 5 that has the Scientist type, and of course, Lilith is a Scientist, so you can play out the Vegapunk, look at the top 5, play this out, you discard a card for Vegapunk, you draw a card. So it's like a discard, draw 1, or if you have, your opponent has 2 or more cards, or 3 or more cards on the board, characters, you don't have to discard a card. So it's just a +1. You're getting 2 bodies on the board, and you're drawing a card while you're only putting 2 bodies on the board, playing only 1 card from your hand. So you're actually going +2 in a way, which is totally insane for Vegapunk into Lilith. This is going to be a great combination. So you basically want to run it into the 5/6 or into the 5/7. Either way, you're doing great stuff. I've decided to play Edison and Frankie because Frankie can at least cheat out a life. A lot of people were playing the new 3-cost Edison, and I just don't like that card. I think this is a aggro deck. I'm not looking to rest your little chumps of 3-cost or less and draw a card. It's not enough value for me. But yeah, this is the deck profile that I would be taking into OP14. The thing with OP14 is we're getting OP14 and half of EBO4, and we're not going to get EBO3 until after that. So I'm looking more into the Eastern front because that's where I play, or Western front because that's where I play. So that's what this deck is built around. It's basically just your average Vegapunk list. We're going to be running 3 of the new 9-cost Bonnies that has Rush and forces your opponent to take a life. I teched in 1 S-Snake to stop a card from attacking, which I think is actually really good. I don't know that 6-cost is the most important stat line at the moment, but I don't mind it because we don't have to discard cards for Nami when we build up a big hand size. We don't have to have 2 or less life, and we're not worried about a bunch of Luffy's attacking us at the moment. At the moment, the Luffy's are not the card that is, you know, most prominent in the meta. It's not like when we were going against Purple with the 6-cost 7K that can attack twice. So I think there's slight value in playing this. I'm not 100% like stuck on this card. It was more just I want to try it out as one of, see if it ever comes up, and see how we do in today's video. Of course, we're running 2 of the Dareshi. This is another card you could drop for the new Lilith, by the way, because drawing 2 cards is great, but you would rather have bodies on the board. So for me, I think the 3 Dawn commitment is a little much. It's great going second, going into 4 Dawn, drawing 2 cards, and then playing a card from your hand. That's always great. But when you can do it with a now Lilith, it's a lot more strong. I think instead you maybe drop this and you play 2 of the Bonnie, because you do need a strong 3-cost turn. It's really important because this deck likes to go second. We cheat out a character on 5 or on our first turn because we have the tap 1 Dawn. Play a 5-cost or less Egghead, so we cheat it out as active. Our opponent attacks us, we trigger out another body from life, and now we have 2 bodies on the board. Then we hit our 4 Dawn turn. We play out either a 3-cost Lilith, draw another card, so we don't really lose hand size, which is really important in this deck, or we play Dareshi to draw 2 cards. The 3 Dawn is really important because then we have 1 additional Dawn to then use leader effect to cheat out a body or gain a life. So if we have the Lilith, we can have 3 bodies on the board and gain a life back to 2. Or if we have the Dareshi, we can draw 2, put a body on the board, some kind of blocker that kind of saves us from being attacked, so we don't have to worry about being at 0 life or going down to 1 life. We don't have to stress it too much, and then we can gain life on the 6 Dawn turn. So yeah, that's basically how you play Vegapunk. You usually like to go second, especially in the current format, because a lot of decks like to go second. You just take away your opponent's best curve as much as possible, and we kind of just try to win the game. Second's also great because when we hit 10 Dawn, we can 9-cost Bonnie and still gain a life, which is always going to be important to kind of draw out the game and last a little longer. So anyways, that's Vegapunk in a nutshell. I really speed run it today because we've done this deck a lot on the channel. If you need more in depth, I definitely recommend taking this deck list from the description down below, which also has links to our Discord and everything else. Again, like and subscribe. We're running some removal, I will say real quick, because that's one more thing I want to add. We are running removal back in here with the Luffy and 4 of the Nami, because it's not just all about Emu right now. These are great attackers, they're great removal, and yeah, I really like them in the deck going into OP14. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, let's go straight into some games on the sim. Now we're gonna go into Blue Jinbe, which is a super aggro deck. I think they like to go second. We're gonna take second no matter what. We get the stage, this will be a good 2-second turn play, so we're gonna keep this. I do like the stage in decks, against decks that are not as, I guess I should say, aggro. They like to control the board a little more. This is a very aggro deck that's probably going to be swinging 5s like crazy at us. We're going to have to control the board a little more than aggro, as they are a 5-life leader as well. We will go ahead and deploy a card, get the Pythagoras out there on the board, and pass to our opponent. There's low value in the Vegapunk until next turn, where we could drop the Egghead depending on what we draw. Because again, I don't need to restand my board as often against a deck like this. It could be 5-6, it could be 5-5. If it's 5-6, we can 2K. If it's 5-5, we're okay. If it's just 5, we're okay taking as well. Let's go ahead and try to trigger out a body, which we do. That's going to allow us to get a little more pressure and control the board, which is always going to be important. They play Crocodile, and this is going to tell me that I do want to play Vegapunk here and also leave a Dawn active. So what I'm going to do is swing 7-7 and drop the Egghead, because I'm not worried about board control in this situation. Now I can see that I can go aggressive, get a blocker on the board. They don't really carry unblockable, so 7-7 is going to be strong. They get a bigger hand size, which is totally okay with us. We get to deploy the Vegapunk blocker, cheat out a card from the top where we can go Shaka or Lilith. Lilith would draw us another card, but having a blocker that's 6k I think is really good into a deck that likes to swing 5s and 6s. The issue is they do like to swing 6s. We have a 2k, 1k, 1k. We're going to drop a brick out of hand. We're going to have counter. I think we can go with a Shaka pretty safely here just to get an additional blocker. And then we can drop the Egghead. Next turn, they should have a big enough board to drop another Vegapunk. So we can lose the Vegapunk pretty willingly here and be safe. The big thing is survival. Unblockable is an issue because they do have an unblockable event, so we can't go down to 0 perfectly. They're going to play Shirahoshi, draw 1, then play a 3 cost or less. They're going to cheat out Watamatsu. Then that has the ability to attack when they have to discard cards to their effect. They're going to swing 5 at us. We will just block for free because we're always going to take a free block. So now if they leader effect, it's going to be 6 and 6. So we can go ahead and counter 1 attack and then block the other attack. So they discard the red rock, put 2 Dawn on Crocodile, that's what it is. Now they're going to swing 5. We'll go ahead and 1k counter, and then they're probably going to go 7 here. They're probably going to discard another card, go 2. They should have gone 2 Rested Dawn. It is what it is. Now we're going to go unblock this attack. We're not worried about losing more cards in hand. Again, because we're going to be cheating out this Vegapunk here for 5 and gaining a life. So now we can kind of go for more board control. We start with the Vegapunk so that they have the entire board full. Granted, we could remove 1 body then Vegapunk to not give as much info. So that's exactly what we'll do. Again, we do want to clear board in this match especially. Now that they have 3 characters, we don't want to attack in again because then that's going to, force us to discard a card, and we don't want to have to do that. 5-7 would be nice here, but also replacing the card in hand against a very aggressive match is pretty good. I think we're going to have to go with this because they're low to the ground anyways, so just being able to search through the top of the deck and find more combo pieces is going to be very good. I think we can grab the Shaka and put the Shaka into life because that's better than Rayquaza at the moment. Granted, we would only have 2 2Ks. We could go with the Rayquaza into the Vegapunk. I think we grab the Shaka, but we still put Rayquaza into life. So now we go 6 more into 3. If they block, we'll go 6 more into 3, because that's going to be the same as blocking anyway. So it's either we block this attack and potentially lose our character, or we attack it and remove it off the board. Then we tap 1, add to top of life, and we gain a Rayquaza. So now we have 2k, 2k, 1k, and we can cheat the Vegapunk out of life. Basically, if they go more board, we can save it and be pretty safe. Again, we want to end this game as soon as possible because of a 7 cost card that they could be playing Gravity Blade. They don't, if your leader's Fishman, draw 1 card. They play Fisher Tiger, draw 3 cards. Now they just leader effect 4 times this turn, which is going to be an issue. So they're going to be swinging pretty tall here, I'd say, in case you couldn't tell. Because that's going to be discarding 4 cards, getting all of these Rested Dawn back. So it's going to be like 9, 10, right? Is that how the math works? 2. So it's going to be 8, 9. Okay. So they're going to go 9 into, they should go face here. That would force the block. And then they should go board. That's how I personally see it. But Again, we never know until they really decide. And we're not going to give up any cards in hand. We will let the board go. That is very important. They go into our Pythagoras because it plays a 4 cost or less from our trash. We don't have one in the trash. So what we could do is counter with the Frankie, but let it die. So then it's only like we 2k out of the attack, basically. So we will do that. We'll resolve the attack and then be able to cheat out the Frankie so we still get a body on the board. Only losing 1 card in hand is definitely not low value. Because now they have to discard 2 more because the Fisher Tiger makes them have 5 or less cards in hand. So they have to do it anyway. So it's just going to be 8 into probably Shaka. Doesn't really matter what they attack. I'm going to block no matter what. Now they have to discard a card. They should have just used leader effect anyways, but they didn't, so that's fine with me. Now we only need to gain 1 life here, or put 1 body on the board. I think we're going to gain a life. So let's start with like 7 into Watatsumi, and then see what they decide to do. Now we can go 8-8 into face. We could go 7-9 as well. So now we'll go 7. Now we'll go 9. And if they don't counter this, we are just going to put the shock on the board. Okay, so now you put the shock on the board so they can't board control. Because if we were to put that in life, they could just swing board, swing board, swing board with these 3 attacks, and we kind of just lose the game. Now they could Gravity Blade, swing board, swing board, swing board, and that would be an issue because we lose both the bodies. So we're kind of playing into Gravity Blade, but they didn't do it on curve, so I don't think they would have it. Because if I was them, I would have just Gravity Bladed last turn and not worried about the board. They're going to play Jinbe. If they discard cards to their effect, it gains Rush, which is totally fine with us in this situation. They're going to go 5 into 5. A lot of people would say counter this. I would say block this. It's a free block. Why would we never just free block there? They can remove the blocker, which is totally okay. Now they have 7 into 5. We will let that go. And then they can go, again, more board control. What do they have Dawn-wise that they would want to save a Dawn active? Okay, they don't save a Dawn active. So they're going to swing into 5. I think we just go for game. Is there ever a turn I don't just go for game with this next turn? I don't think so. I think we want to out-aggro them. We'll save that, and then they're going to swing 10 into 6 or 10 into 6. Either one they can remove. I think I would have gone into the Shaka just because it's a blocker. But, hey, that's just my opinion. I think we just swing 9. See what they decide to do. And then 11. Yeah, we just swing 9 and then 11. Or we can go 9, 9. We could go 8, 9. Depends on how they counter. If they give us 3 cards here, we go 8. No, then we go 7. We would go 7. The math just maths better. Because we don't have to commit here. Right? Now we can just go 11. And, you know, if they can counter it, that's cool. We're not really worried about it. We still have a blocker. We still have a Rayquaza, and we have a 3rd life. So we don't lose. If they can counter this. So that'd be 2k, 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 1k. 4 cards out of hand. 2k, 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 1k. Now we could commit the 7 here, but then we have a chance to lose, correct? Because this is going to be blocker on the board, blocks this attack. This life will get us a Vegapunk, right? So that would be another blocker for this attack. So we take 1, we take this attack, we block this attack, and then we have 1 additional life. So actually, we don't have to gain a life here. Now, if they have removal, and then they only have 2 cards to discard, I think we can still gain a life here. Because this can also remove the blocker next turn. So we will add to top of life, gain a blocker, and pass. If they can control the board and remove all of these, we're in a worse position. But they would have to Gravity Blade now. And we haven't seen a Gravity Blade yet. Now, we just don't know if this is a more control variant. Granted, we do know they're playing Red Rock. Removal would be the biggest issue. So there was merit in putting the Luffy on the board, but it really just depends on what we draw. The issue is we're not playing ooh, now they can go board. Now they can definitely go board. 5 into 5, we give that up. 7 into 6, we give that up. They swing the 5 here because it can't be KO'd by the Monkey D. Luffy. And we're going to hold the Monkey D. Luffy for KO, potentially in the future. So we would take this. We're going to be taking 2 10Ks though. No, we're not. They're not going to attack us again. So that's why we take this. Because if you counter it, they just swing a 10 for free. They get another 10. But now they don't attack. See? So now we're in a safe position where we can go 5, 1, 5, and then 1 to the top of the life. Or do we put it out on the board? I think we add it to the top of life and then pass. The big thing here is holding this in case they play something that would be a blocker, like a 4-cost Marco, some kind of issue like that. So the misplay was putting the Luffy into life. We should have put it on the board, knowing that they can only board control one character with the Jinbe, which we knew they wanted to play, and they were able to draw 2 cards. So if we would have put the Luffy on the board, it would have already been wrapped. So that was the one misplay, miscalculation. We should have put it into board. If we do that, game's over. So now you know. They're going to swing 5 at us. We are just going to... I think we're just going to take this trigger, Gravity Blade. We don't lose the Gravity Blade. So we use the trigger. We still wouldn't lose the Gravity Blade. It would just kind of suck. The Gravity Blade would remove both of these. So it just depends, do they have it? If not, all right, we're going to take again, use the trigger. We're going to cheat out the Vegapunk we saw earlier. That's going to cheat out a Shaka. So now we're sitting behind a bunch of blockers here. And we basically just don't lose. Because they were going to go Perfume Femur. But the thing is that would be 3 attacks. We kind of needed that, actually. Block, block, block. Never going through. Well, we just, even if we didn't hit the shock off the top, block this, 1 life. We don't have to worry about it. So whatever this was would just be attacking in next turn. So it's just guaranteed wraps. The one misplay I did mention specifically, we should have just put the Luffy on the board. If we put the Luffy on board, we just guaranteed win that situation. So just for future, you know, take a little slower. With me making videos, I kind of speed it up a little bit. Like I'm going faster, trying to like not process things, but I did mention it and I should have done it. So anyways, hey, GG's to the Jinbe, out aggroed the aggro deck, and yeah, GG's, on to the next one. Vegapunk is back, baby. Now this Gecko Moria deck, this is actually going to be one of the worst matchups for us ever. We are going to keep this though. We're probably going to go ahead and put down a, go first. We could put down a 5/7. I really don't mind that. So we'll put down the 5/7 now. We can put down the Atlas later. Either way, I think they're yellow, so they'll take pretty aggressively. They go ahead and play this out, trash it to look at the top 3 cards of the deck, and they swing 6 at us. This we will just take, hoping to get a trigger. We don't get a good trigger, so oh well. It really do be that way. We'll swing. Do we have the ability to swing in this situation? What we'll do is swing 7 into our opponent. If they get a trigger body out, which they do, they get the Perona, which is going to cheat out the Absalon. What we can do is tap 3 for Dareshi. It's going to allow us to draw 2 cards, which is going to be a Frankie, and I think we grab Nami. I was going to go with this and then just stop it from attacking. Is that actually better because then it doesn't get the on KO? They have to do the on KO. I think we're actually fine with that. I think we still grab a Nami for later, but I still think we go with the S-Snake. We can control board next turn a little better, where we can remove this next turn if they don't KO it with both the Luffy and the Nami. But this turn we can kind of stall out one, and that's, I think, a good tech piece into Gecko Moria for that specific effect, for the on KOs, where now we don't have to remove them and KO them, because all we have is KO removal. We don't have trashing, we don't have any other kind of effect in this deck, so it's either we swing into it, that gets KO'd, or we remove it with an effect, and that's also KO. So now, as we said, they do actually KO it themselves to grab an event, to search a top 3, to then grab a Gecko Moria, to play a Perona, stopping our card from attacking and swinging 6 at us. This, I feel like we do need to counter, and that's totally okay with me. Now, we can swing 6 into our opponent, remove this with a 5-cost Nami, and cheat a character onto the board. So we're going to swing 6 into our opponent. They're probably going to trigger a body out here, which is going to be good and bad. Now we can choose if we want to remove both bodies or not. We'll just have to see what they decide to do. Because we want to KO this after we swing, because this has the on KO to stop a 6-cost or less, so they could have stopped the S-Snake if we Nami'd first. So we swing the 6, then they get to decide what to do. So they do take, they get the trigger to play a 4-cost or less from a Trash Rested, which is totally okay. They play the Absalon again, so it's another on KO issue that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to probably play out, I would definitely want to KO the Perona, so tap 5, we'll discard Atlas and KO the Perona. Now it stops something from attacking, it doesn't really matter. Then we could go with the Vegapunk to have a blocker. We could also just gain a life here. Could also just play the Shaka to be a 6k to block out of the attack. Could play the Vegapunk, but then we have to discard a card. I don't really want to discard a card at the moment. So they don't have Rush. They do have the ability to play 6-cost Gecko Moria back into Perona to stop another attack. And they just quit. They just quit. Well, I guess it's going to show you how we can win this match, is just out-aggroing them, because we were going to go... The hard thing is like knowing what to do, because again, we knew they had the 6-cost Gecko Moria, so they're going to swing 7 with this, they were going to swing 5, We could block. They could go 6 and then 7 because they could trash this to get plus 1,000 to a leader, and then swing 7 because they get Arrested Dawn from the Gecko Moria. So they attach 1, then they go with the 6 cost, swing 7. And so we'd have to block, counter 1, and then they go 7, potentially in the board, which we'd have to 1k, 1k, or 1 cost, but we wouldn't have the 1 cost available because we'd tap 1 to gain a life. So there, I think they were still in a good spot. I think we would have just had to continue the aggro there while controlling board as best we can. I don't think I was going to KO the Absalon. Granted, killing the Absalon would have forced them to put 2 Dawn here and just swing 7. So, and we get to draw a card, which wouldn't be bad either. So I don't know. We were still thinking it through, but they quit a little early. That's going to be a quick 3-minute little like refresher for you guys to show you, I guess, board control is going to be good in that match. On to the next one. We're going to do 2 more games at least, actual full games. This is another deck that I think is going to be really good if they hit that 10 cost, stopping 3 of our cards from attacking, especially when we have no leader attack. So we need to play around that as best as possible. So we're going to do everything we can to keep our board from being controlled. The one thing I like about this is you don't need the stage when you play the 5-7 because they can't really swing into it. If they do, they're just kind of really behind. So we're going to deploy the Shaka. The issue is their leader effect as well. They can Dawn -1 into a different character. So if we have 5 characters on the board, we're going to need 1 blocker to save our life, which is always going to be important. So yeah, I don't know. This isn't going to be the best. Now they can just Dawn -1 active Dawn just to get the Dawn back, and they choose not to. All right, that's cool with me. We are going to play the stage here because we kind of don't really have anything else that's better to play. We're going to deploy a card, which is going to be the Shaka, and then pass, restand the Shaka. Makes sense to me. Now we can start attacking with our blockers, being aggressive, while restanding them at the end of the turn. That's what the stage is really there for. So they're going to go with Vergo. They're going to be able to minus us by 2,000, which we don't really care for at the moment. Ooh, we're going to have to probably play the Edison. We can go 7 in the face, see what they decide to do. The issue is this Vergo going minus 2,000, but if they Dawn -1, do I ever want to swing 7 again? I don't even think I want to swing 7 because of this Vergo. So I think what we're going to do is actually go for a draw 2, trash 2. Draw 2. This is on KO, correct? Yes, it is. So we can force that out with the Luffy later on. So we're going to trash. 2 2Ks is not what I want to trash here, but I definitely am going to need this 9 cost Bonnie. And then we're going to go and deploy a card, the Luffy, and then we're not even going to swing with this, because again, I don't want the Vergo taking out our Shaka, right? So they only have 2 attacks at us, which is perfectly fine. Now they can minus the Shaka, so we don't really get to block, but I think that's okay. We'll go and restand the Shaka, and we'll be perfectly fine. We're going to have the limited hand size that we have. That's why the Edison's not always great. Having to force us to discard 2 2Ks in a deck that only runs 8 and is known for only running 8 is really good information. That means that, what, 25% of our 2Ks, I mean actually more because we played a 2K, so a lot more of our 2Ks are gone. They do just pass the turn here, so now is where we can probably commit a little more. We can go ahead and go 7 in the face. I don't think we mind committing here. We just don't really have the board. That is the issue. So we'll go 7. We're going to go 7 with the Luffy. They redirect, so actually we're not even going to have to worry about that. This could just draw us a free card. So I guess we'll go 7 with the Luffy and then draw a free card. I don't think that's going to be bad to have. They're going to get that Rested Dawn back. They are going into the 10 Dawn turn, so we need 1 more body on the board, or we need this to hit a little better. So we are going to go another 7, and we're probably going to pop the Luffy to draw a card. I just think drawing a card in this situation where we're going to lose 3 cards anyways, we choose no cards, we get to draw 1. Doesn't really help us, okay. So we're going to go 8. And then we're going to go 9. And then we're just going to gain a life. I think that's literally all we have to do. They played around the Bonnie. They're like, hey, don't have to worry about that Bonnie anymore because they're going to stop 3 cards from attacking. So we're going to restand the Shaka because these are going to be stopped from attacking anyways. The blocker at least can block, so that's probably the most prominent effect that we have here. So they're going to tap 10, Dawn -3. They're going to probably go 5, 6, 7. I hate myself for saying that. No, they're going to go with the Doflamingo here. Interesting enough. Interesting enough going for the Doflamingo into the Monet. They can redirect an attack, so we can't just go super big with 1 attack, which I think is going to be one of the most important things. They Dawn -1, make this a 5K. But we're not going to be able to save our board here, so we are going to lose that. And then they can Dawn -1 to attack us into the Monet. Okay, they're going to go 5 and a 7. We're going to have to let that go. They can't touch our Bonnie, which is really important here. I think we can just play Bonnie and pass. They can't stop the Bonnie from not attacking, right? We can just swing 6, because we can restand it anyways. Well, no, because we're not going to be able to gain a life. They redirect us. Interesting. I guess we can go and attack in. The issue is we have to have 3 or less life to trigger this. So they're going to go +4 and then 2k. Makes the most sense to me. I think we're just going to go super defensive here. We just add a card to the top of our life again. We're not going to be able to restand the blocker, but I don't think that's an issue. We have 2 2Ks in hand. They're not really going to be able to remove this and stop everything from attacking. They can attack to the Shaka. This is a weird match to play around for sure. I think this guy's playing perfectly though. I think it's how many Bonnies can we find. I think the Bonnie's the most important card here. For sure, for sure. Because 10k, as long as they leave that 2 Dawn active, they are J chilling right now with that. They can also give this -2000 from the Vergo. Then they can attack to the Shaka. So they could go 1 Dawn attached, 8. Oh, they're really going in with the Vergo. So 8 into 8. Well, I'm going to go ahead and 2k that. Then they're going to go 10. So we're basically just losing this almost guaranteed. So we should not have committed there. 10 into 8. We have to lose that. That sucks. And we have to lose this as well. And they can't attack us. Yeah, they cannot attack us here. Because if not, we trigger out a body on the board. Really? We'll take, use the trigger. I think I'm going to cheat out a 5/7. I don't think there's ever a world I need a blocker in this situation. Now, we need the Vegapunk. The issue is we don't have the Vegapunk here. And they have no more attacks. Gonna tap 9, add a card to the top of our life, pass. Restand nothing. That was a really short turn for us, but we're kind of falling behind here, it feels like. They are going to play out the 10 cost here, I'm assuming. So they probably swing 6 with the Monet. I think they're thinking about going for game. Because they don't lose. We can't trigger this out on the board because then we're playing it at the 10 cost. That's going to stop both these from attacking anyway. So we're already losing value to these two. I don't know if the third attack is necessary. But if we split with these two, it's 11, 12, 13, 13, which is not great because that's 14, 13 actually. So that's not great. We can never save this if we block. The question is, do we trigger it out? Because the third body doesn't help us in a situation where they do play the 10 cost. But we kind of need the counter in the situation. I think we choose not to trigger this out. I think so. I think we need the counter in hand. Because now they swing 6, thinking that we don't have enough counter. Where we could 2k this to stay alive. Now they play the 10 cost. Stop these two from attacking. They want us to trigger something out. Stop the Vergo from attacking. 7 more. They don't have Rush in this deck. Is going to force us to block this attack with the Doflamingo. The S-Snake was clutch. The S-Snake was clutch there. But I think they can just redirect the attacks too well. And we gave up our board a little too much. This is a hard match, though, for sure. Trigger this out and draw a card. It's at least going to get us a body on the board. So it gives them more value to that 10 cost. But that's where the Atlas would have been good. But then they wouldn't attack us more. So that's why the 10 cost is so good here. Stopping these 3 from attacking completely. Basically just means they Dawn -1 here. They stopped the Shaka from blocking. GG's. There wasn't much we could do in that situation, man. I think we gave up the board a little too much. They still had so much counter. Still had 2 Dawn for the... Well, they didn't have 2 Dawn for the Bullet String. But 2k, 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 1k. So even if we were able to split with the 13, 14, they get to 2, 2, 2. That's 11, 12. So actually 12, 13, 14 would have gotten it. But stopping these from going into rest completely. I forgot. I thought it just stopped them from attacking. But no, they cannot go into rest. So... GG's. I do think Doflamingo is going to be probably the hardest match here because they can stop 3 of your attacks and you need to have 2 attacks on the board and they can redirect one completely because if you have 4 attacks, they just redirect one of the attacks and you just get nothing. So yeah, once they hit that 10 Dawn, if they find enough 10 cost Doflamingos, that's gonna be a hard match no matter what. Even if we played it perfect, that's my first time playing into it, so I did not give you guys the perfect showing, but I at least showed you what not to do, and I hope you can learn from it. So hey, GG's to the Doflamingo player, good game, and that is a really tough match. And with that being said, I think this is another tough match here. In the Crocodile, they can just KO one of their cards and then give a character -10, trash the top 2 cards of the deck. They can't remove anything by effects, but let me tell you what they can do. A little too much. They can stop all of our cards from attacking, which is really bad for us. I think this is a way better start for us. I'm glad we mulliganed here. Deploy the 5/7 Shaka and pass. We need to go aggro, aggro, aggro as much as possible here, in my personal opinion. This Miss Wednesday is great because it gets to give this character -3000, right? They go ahead and trash it. I would have definitely held that for this match specifically. So it is what it is. They choose not to. That's cool with me. We're going to swing 7 into our opponent. We are going to go really low on hand size, so this this Dareshi is going to be really clutch here because we're going to tap 2 for the stage. We're going to go ahead and deploy the Pythagoras, pass the turn, restand. If this card is KO'd, you play something from your trash, which is going to be the Edison more than likely, unless we hit a Lilith somewhere soon. Drawing the 2 cards is going to be really good. I think that's going to be probably the most important thing. So they're going to go ahead and be able to trash the Bond Clay. Then they get to cheat out a card with 5 costs from their hand. The Mr. 2 or Mr. 5, they get to draw 2, trash 1. They could have done the Daz Bone, swing 6 and a 6. Not great value in that. We're going to go into Dareshi first to draw 2 cards to see if there's something better. I think we are going to go with the S. Rayquaza is always good later, and we can grab S-Snake to stop the Mr. 5, right? So we're going into 6 Dawn. Yeah, I think the S-Snake's good to stop them from attacking into our board. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to grab S-Snake, and I think we grab a... I don't think we can grab another Bonnie. I don't think we're going to be able to play it soon enough, because we're going to hit the 10 Dawn turn 1 turn too late, and we don't really want to play this on 9. So we'll do the S-Snake and a Rayquaza. That'll still leave us a Dawn active in case we need it. So we can go 6 and then 7 into face. And that'll be good info for us to have. We could also go with the Atlas if they don't take, to basically just make sure they can't remove our board, which is always going to be a good prominent effect. We're going to leave the 7K as active, or as rested, and we're going to put the Pythagoras as active, because if they minus this by 3, we're kind of cooked. If they minus this by 3 either way, we're kind of cooked. So looks like they don't have any more of these Miss Wednesdays. They've already, shown us 3 of them, and this deck usually runs 3. So we're going to go into tap 1, deploy a card, S-Snake, stop this from attacking. They can go into 6 Dawn, they can swing 6, and that's about it right now. So we'll end the turn, we'll restand the... So the Pythagoras I don't want to have to give up a 2K for if they do go -3 on it. Actually, that's not too bad. No, we'll restand the Pythagoras. I think that just makes the most sense. We have the Rayquaza for a 3K counter if we need it. They can't really hit us in the face. They're going on the 6 Dawn turn. They play the Miss Valentine to search the top 4 card. They grab a Miss All Sunday. That's going to be probably their play on the next turn unless they hit the 8 cost, which the 8 cost is going to be the big issue for this deck. And so they're going to play a Bond Clay. They're going to trash the Bond Clay, give this -5, and then they're going to play out the, what's his name, Daz Bones? No, they're going to go Zala to give everything +2. Okay. They got the Marineford list going on over here. I like it. 7, 7, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1 to gain a life. Yeah, let's go with the... No matter what, we're going 7, 7, 7. So we might as well just go 7, 7, 7. That just makes the most sense to me, being hyper aggressive here. They have 1 Dawn active for a 4K counter, which they can totally use. Should have swung 7 with the Shaka first, probably, just because it's a less Dawn commitment. So if they do have some kind of event we're not ready for, it does make the most sense. They are going to go ahead and use the Ground Death. We're just going to go a bunch of 7, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So 7, 7, 7. We're going to restand the S-Snake in this situation because we keep the Big Body active and the Pythagoras, which has the on KO. They block in 1K, 1K, which is really good information for us. We get to grab a Vegapunk. I want this for later. I don't even want it for right now. I want it for later. So we are going to grab the Vegapunk for later, and I think we're going to play out the Atlas. I don't think we need to gain a life. Deploy a card, Atlas, in case they board control and they stop 2 cards from attacking. I think this just makes the most sense. We leave the 1 Dawn active for counter events. We get to restand the S-Snake, and we have a 7K active and a 6K that on KO would play out the Edison, so we at least get our board kind of back. So we should be totally fine here. Now we actually can commit less, and we can let 1 body die this turn. So what they can do is tap 8, play Crocodile, stop a card from attacking. Nope. That's good for us. All right, then we're chilling. We are J chilling right now. I'm gonna let you know. They're grabbing his Golden Week. They're down to 20 cards in deck, so that's gonna be a 2K counter now in their hand because they didn't have any before. Now they're gonna leader effect, trash this to probably play out either the gem or yeah, they are gonna go with gem. Draw 2, trash 1, filtering the hand out, trying to find those 8-cost Crocs. Then they're gonna tap 1 for Hotch Couture Patchwork. Stop this from attacking or stop this from reactivating, so it'll stay rested. They can go 7 into 6, in which we can 2K counter. Now if they attack 6 into it, we have a card to actually cheat out. Of course they choose not to. We don't get much value out of the Nami here, but we are going to get good value out of attacking them. So 8, 8, 8, 8, gain a life. The thing is, do we collapse after that? The big thing is making sure we don't collapse, which we can Vegapunk out aggressively. So we could go 5-1 and then just go 6. I think we do that instead. Just burn some cards, because at least we're getting over top of the blockers. I think that's going to be the most important thing. And then what? 7, 7, 7. Well, that's only 5. So actually, it would be another 6, and then 7, 7. We know they have 1 2K in hand. No, they showed us the 2K already. So then, oh, you could tap 9 here, force them to take a life and just go down to 0, so they play really defensive. But they have 2 blockers. They just have to leave the blockers active then. Is that ever the better play? That actually might be the play here, because we still have 1K, 1K. They can't go for game. I mean, it forced them to go for game, but they actually probably would have game if we did that, because we wouldn't have any active Dawn. So we'll go... We will go with the 7 here. And then they're going to block 2K. And then we'll go 7 more, and they should block 1K, 1K. Just depends on how bricked up they are. They could also just take this and go down to 0. Could also have just gone 7 into board, just forcing out some cards from hand. So they go down to 0, giving us less value in our characters. Which, I mean, I think it's a smart play. I do think it's a smart play here. But I think this is going to force cards out of hand, and we kind of just have them on the back foot. They block in 2K. Now we're going to tap 5 over top of the Lilith, because the Lilith is our weakest option on the board, to then cheat out a Shaka to get a blocker on the board and a strongly statted character. Could have go with the Lilith to search a card to have more counter in hand. I think it makes more sense to go with the blocker here. And then Bonnie towards the top, because I think that's the one card. Well, I guess we don't need it now. And then... do we ever just not gain a life to keep a 3K counter in hand and a 1K? Because we can block... and they only have 1 attack they can really commit, because they need to leave the blockers. They're going to play 8-cost Croc, stop this from attacking, stop this from attacking. They only would attack 1 thing on board. And they would wait till the end of the turn, so... I guess we can gain a life. We're not going to lose anything for gaining a life. I think we're okay with that. And then we're going to restand our S-Snake, because they're going to want to stop both of these from attacking. They don't really want to kill the Pythagoras, because then we get to cheat out the Lilith, so we get to draw a card. Actually, no, if you have 2 or less life. So actually, we don't get the Pythagoras, because we gained a life. So that tells me we shouldn't have gained a life there. We should have kept the 1K, the 1 Dawn active for the Rayquaza. Just sat on a 3K counter. That would have made more sense. Good information to have. It's a learning game here for our first time playing into the OP14 leaders. I want to make that very aware. I have not done much testing. I just play Vegapunk a lot. So I know how to play Vegapunk, and I learn from making these mistakes, and I teach you from making these mistakes, because I think it's a lot of information to get. So they're going to play Mr. 2 Boncole Bentham. They're not playing an 8-cost Croc, so they're not really finding their combo pieces, it looks like. They're going to trash him, make this -5, and then what are they going to cheat out with that? Interesting. They're going to cheat out the Mr. 1 Dazbones to rest the Shaka, and then they're going to go for a Ground Death, nullify the Vegapunk effect, and now they're really just going to go into face. Interesting enough. So we're just going to... I think we're just going to use the trigger. We don't have a blocker in the trash, but what we can do is cheat out the Lilith over top of a rested body, so that at least we can get something, and then we'll grab a 2K. Yeah, I think it just makes the most sense to grab a 2K here, because they still don't have lethal. Especially because they can only go, what, 7, 7, 8? So we can just take, see what we get. We get another 2K. We're fine with that. We know we just don't lose now, right? Well, I guess they have another 6. So they can go 5. We can go ahead and counter 1. We can counter the 8. So 8 into face, we can just take. No trigger needed, and then we can just counter the 8. We're perfectly safe here. They don't have a way to up its power. So 2k, 2k, and that's just going to be GG's. And they can swing the 6 into 6, but that doesn't do anything for them. They had the 8 cost Croc, but they didn't think that was the correct option. They're also playing Barrier to get another 4k counter. GG's to our opponent, though. Really well played. I think the big thing is just shutting down the board and going more board control. I think what I would have done in that situation is not worry about stopping these blockers. I would have more swung into these and then, you know, keep swinging into Pythagoras to the 8. You know, it kind of just forced removal. We get the Lilith, we get the search a card, but then, you know, that card you just swing in with 7 into that, and then you can stop this from attacking. You can stop this from attacking. We have a 0k blocker and a blocker. I think that would have been the better situation there. You leave 2 Dawn active for 2 4k events, and you can, you know, leave one of your blockers active, and you'd still have the counter from the Mr. 1, so you'd have 9k counter at 0 life with a blocker. I think would have been a little better in that situation, but our opponent played things how they thought was best, and that's all you can really hope for. So GG's the Crocodile. I do think that's a tough match when it's played like perfectly, but in a situation like that, I think we can just out aggro them and kind of take them down. So GG's, and on to the next and final match of the video. Now this is another one that I'm gonna say is gonna be a hard freaking match. We're gonna have to take, I think they like to go first, so we're gonna take first away from them. The issue in this match, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, is a card called Kid and Killer. That is like the best card out there against our deck specifically. We need to go ahead and get a body on the board, and that's going to be the Shaka, but after this, we're going to really have to go defensive and start gaining life. We are going first, which is always our worst curve, and we don't like to do that. We don't want to remove this either because it just plays another 2k, so it doesn't really do much, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. We are going to put the Lilith into life, I think. They could just go 9 to Shaka, which I think we would just save in that situation. So we'll go ahead and put Lilith into life and kind of just hope they aggro into face, because if not, we're in a better position. So they have 4 costs. They could go 5 in a face, which we would counter because of Kid Killer. We want to be at 3 life or more. We don't want to give them 7/7 because they could switch the power of the Kid Killer and the Basil Hawkins after that, because it has plus 2,000. I guess it's base power, so it'd be 5, but still, I don't really want to deal with that, and I'd rather see them commit to that. But also drawing a card would be really good. We can go in 1k this. We'll be okay. Granted, we can kill the Kid Killer next, so we would be kind of fine, but I want to see the Kid Killer committed first. Granted, the Kid Killer could go 7 into Shaka, then they could go 5 into face, which we'd have to counter that. So they go with Kid. If your leader has a Supernova type, play 1 red character with 2,000 power or less. Makes sense to me. We can KO that. Give 1 Rested Dawn to one of your leaders or characters. They can swap the power for these 2 and then swing 5 into face, giving us a character we really just don't want to swing into to give them another 2k. So it's just like an unkillable small body. They're just trying to decide if they do want to attack with it or not. I think you don't. Personally, I wouldn't. They do. They do want to attack with this. Okay, so when we go 6 in a face, we will use the trigger and search the top 5 cards of the deck. Getting out this Vegapunk I think is going to be really good. So we will go and grab the Vegapunk here. We're going into 5 Dawn, which is the big issue. We can't remove the Basil Hawkins. We can remove the Eustace Captain Kid. So, or we can remove the Kid Killer. I never want to play these. So we're just going to go 7/7 in a face, I think. We'll start with the 7. We're going to tap 1 Dawn for the Nami to play it, but then we're really playing into Kid Killer, but then we'll have another Nami. We'll trash. It would have to be the Vegapunk, and then go into Rayquaza on the next turn. Is it ever better just to play the Vegapunk and not really worry about the Kid? I think so. I actually think I'm going to switch things up. We'll see what they decide to do here. If they block, then that kind of is a little more telling, but I think it's better to play Vegapunk here. Either way, we're deploying a card, but I don't want to discard the Vegapunk. I think I'd rather play the Vegapunk, look at the top 5, and cheat out a body on the board, like a 5/7, and then pass a turn. So we still have 1 Dawn active for the Rayquaza in case they play Kid Killer, because then it's going to be, what, 7/5/5, and the 5/5/5 is going to be pelting us, but we can block out of the 7. We can take a 5, counter a 5, then go board removal, gain life in the Rayquaza, and then play out Vegapunk, and we should be okay in that situation. They're going to go 5 and a 5 here. This is one that we will give up. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but in this situation, you can't lose your hand. And with their 8 cards in hand and a full board of a lot of aggressive attackers, they're hitting the 6 Dawn turn. 7 Dawn is their great Aurora Zoro play. The 7 cost 8k. So we're trying to play around that as best as possible. 5, potentially another 5. I will greedily take this and cheat out a body on the board. This is going to allow us to board control a little bit more. So that's always going to be a good option. I don't think we're ever worried about this extra rested Dawn either. So they could go 7 Kid Killer. They're going to tap 1, look at the top 4 for a Supernova Straw Hat Kruger. They're going to grab an X-Drake, which is a 5/7 that is anti-board removal. Instead, give your leader minus 2,000 power for the turn. And that makes this into a 7k. So that kind of hinders our game plan there. Hinders our game plan completely. We'll go and block out of that attack. And now we need to control the board without using Nami, which is the issue. So we can go 7 into Kid. You may instead give your leader minus 2,000 power for the turn. I think we still Nami and force the leader to go minus 2,000. That's going to commit a lot of resources. So we'll Nami. I think we can discard Pythagoras, choose X-Drake. Force the leader to go minus 2,000. Then we can swing 6 into 2, or 6 into 3. It makes the leader minus 2,000, which is crazy. So it's like, do you really want to commit that much? And we drew a card because, oh, from the filter from the Nami. Okay, so we'll go 6 into 3. And then we'll go 7 into 3. And then we will add a card to the top of life, Rayquaza, and hope. And hope. We got 4k counter. They're going to have 4 attacks coming in here. 8 Dawn turns. They're probably playing the 7 cost Rush Zoro, or they could play tap 4 for the Rush guy. We haven't seen a 5 cost Shaka blocker, so there should be one in our top 5 here. Like, mathematically, there should be one in that top 5. So we're going to have 2 blockers. It's either the last life or it's in the top 5. Just based off the math of how many cards we've seen. Have we done any searching? We did 1 search. We did 1 Vegapunk. That was 10 cards deep. We drew 5 cards. We had 2 life. We filtered 1 with Nami. That's, what, 17 cards? 16 cards? So we should have one. They have 10 cards in hand. That puts us in a tough spot, I'm not going to lie. Puts us in a pretty tough spot. They need to decide if they want to control the board, give the character minus 2,000, probably swing into the Shaka. They have options for sure. They can give the character minus 1,000 here. They can attach the Dawn from the Kid Killer into the X-Drake, go 8, and then another 8. So they can go 8, 8, 8 into board. So we kind of do just lose the board. But we could save this. 2k, 1k. Is that enough to save the entire board? I don't think so. I don't think we should have done that. Now that I'm looking at it, we lose it anyway, so what does it matter? Because they go 6, we counter 1, save this. They go 8, they go 8. Yeah, no matter what, we were losing the entire board. No. 8, 8, 1 active. We're getting 1 card out of hand extra. I don't think it's worth it. Alright. Gonna let that go. GG's. 1k, 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 2k, 1k, 1k, 2k. 2. So if we go 15 into face here with the Nami, if they remove our entire board, 2k, 1k, 1k, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They can get to 14. They cannot win the game. GG's Trafalgar Law, man. I thought that was going to be a hard match, but the board control is ever present in this current format. Let's see if in the top 5 we did have a Shaka. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had the other Shaka, but we would not have found the, oh, is that top 5? It's pretty close. It's like right there. I don't know if that's top 5 or not. I think it is. Yeah, that's like card number 4. Heck yeah. So we would have actually found the blocker off of this into the Rayquaza and then had 2 blockers. So if they went for lethal there, which I think they should have, we were in a good spot. So GG's, we kill them before they hit this guy, and we kind of just win the game. Tons of cards in hand, super aggro. Our opponent took a little too aggressive, but hey, that's just my opinion. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do for them, and they just got out aggroed the hut. So hey, GG's, and that was Vegapunk in the OP14 format, and I think you can see Vegapunk may actually be back. So I'm more excited for OP14 than ever now that I can play my favorite leader and actually take it to a treasure cup and hopefully win again in the OP14 format. I won an OP12 with Vegapunk, or EBO2, I guess is when it was, when green purple was just prominent as crap, and I took it down. I took down a bunch of good decks, so I'm hoping to bring this back to locals in OP14 for you guys. And if you enjoy that and all the Vegapunk content, this is the place to be, because now we can actually play a lot more Vegapunk going into the forward formats. We can go into a more top-end removal, life gain burn, whatever you want to do. So if you got ideas for Vegapunk, comment down below. Kuma's a trap, Stussy's a trap. Don't fall for them Vegapunk players. I have so many of you commenting to play the Kuma. It is not good in this deck. Stop commenting that. You piss me off. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching as always. I love you. I'll see you the next one. Join the Discord down below. Like, subscribe, all that good jazz. And I'll see you the next one. Peace.